last video in the series for Jason's Eagle Project for children with Autism. Today we will talk about healthcare for your service dog. We have a veterinarian here to help make sure that your rescue dog is healthy enough to do his duties as a service dog, to his fullest potential, and ensure that you have a long relationship together.
Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Palm. You can call me Jason. I'm a veterinarian at Hiawassee Vet Clinic in Orlando. I was born in New Orleans, went to LSU for vet school, have been practicing veterinary medicine for 20 plus years. I own the practice that we're in now, and I'm very happy doing what I do. Today's talk is going to be about general health care, specifically for service dogs that have gone through a rescue program. The general health plan that I usually offer clients is a little different than other vets. There's some questions on here about nutrition, vaccines. To start with, I have a vaccination program, but I tend to vaccinate less than other vets, fewer vaccines, because I think most vets overdo it. Nutrition is extremely important. We spend a long time talking about that. If it's an older animal, we focus on blood work and medicine to keep them comfortable, etc. My point is I have kind of an outside of the box approach. I don't do everything other vets do. I try to look at every animal individually so that I can present a specific plan for that animal. With respect to rescue dogs that are being transitioned into the service dog industry, if you will, kind of have a special place in my heart for those because first of all, a lot of when dogs are rescued. Second of all, I think it does the dog a lot of good to work in that kind of capacity. Third of all, obviously it helps the person. So my job at that point becomes assessing the dog's behavior. That's usually the first thing. Oftentimes we'll talk for 30 minutes about the behavior, whether or not the dog had any trauma when they were younger, and then we go through the basic health stuff, and then after that we might go through some of the more advanced stuff. So in other words, after the first visit, my job is trying to assess how good of a service dog that particular animal might be, and then to make sure they have the routine stuff, and make sure they have any special health needs taken care of. So that's my general approach.
What can you expect when bringing your service dog into the office?
When I come in the room, let's say it's a new client that has a new animal that's recently been rescued, and they want my opinion or certification on what to do to make that dog a service animal. The very first thing I do is super simple. I sit there on the ground and let the dog come up to me. I can tell a lot at that point, whether they're super friendly, whether there's some past trauma. That's a good start. Then I talk to the client about what their role in transitioning this dog into the service industry might be. And it depends a lot on the client. Then I get a history, I look through records. There might not be any, there might be a lot. The situation under which an animal goes from a rescue to a service industry is fluid, so it changes. But the basics are A, look at the dog's behavior in general. B, talk to the client about what their expectations are. C, look through the medical history, and then the next thing I do is an exam. You want to make sure there's no health problems, because there are certain diseases that dogs can carry, for instance, that could potentially be a problem for a vulnerable population, like an elderly person or a compromised person or a young person. So you want to make sure that there are no health problems, skin issues. Of course, the behavior is important because if they're going to be around people, you need to pretty much guarantee that nobody's going to be bitten. So just to recap, number one, a brief introduction. Number two, speak to the client. Number three, look through the medical history. Number four, do a full exam. If there are health problems, do some tests or some treatment. But the last part, in my opinion, is most important because that's when you actually sit down with the dog and the person and kind of flip them over on their belly, look them in the eye, make sure they don't have any tendencies that would be detrimental towards them being a service dog. Because I don't believe in breed stereotypes, I just believe in certain dogs, not certain breeds, have been through certain things that would make them unacceptable. If I'm going to put my signature on something that says this is going to be a service dog, I need to at least have no obvious indication it would be a problem. It's not a liability thing, it's just a basic common sense thing. So it's a pretty thorough process, and usually my appointments are 15 to 30 minutes. This one's more like 30 to 45. But in other words, make sure the animal is physically fit to do that, make sure they don't have any diseases that can go to the vulnerable population, and then the biggest one is look for indications that they have the right temperament. Ideally, no anxiety, no aggression, and if they're mild amounts of either of those, we can treat it, we can go through processes to get rid of that. But if it's like really severe, and the animal is, for instance, crouched in the corner, that's going to be one that's going to be harder to make a service. So that's my general approach.
Thank you for joining us for our final video.